Hello and welcome to Rewire Your Mind. My name is Joey Hodges, and as you can see by the title, today we're talking about fear, what fear really is, why it controls you, and how to use it as fuel instead of letting it paralyze you. Fear is one of the biggest things that is holding most people back from achieving their potential, whether it be fear of judgment, of rejection, of failure, of the unknown. It stops us from taking action. But here's the truth. Fear is not something that we need to get rid of. It's something that we need to face, that we need to understand and push through. And on that note, we're going to start with understanding fear on a deeper level. Fear is not our enemy. Fear is a survival mechanism. Our brains are wired to keep us safe, to keep us comfortable, not successful. They want to keep us in a place of the known. And the unknown is scary. That's what fear is, because we don't know what that thing is. We don't know what it comes with, the emotions, the feelings, the thoughts, the circumstances, whatever it may be in that endeavor in your life. And so that's the first thing to understand about fear, is that it comes with new things. And the bigger that new thing is, the scarier it's going to be. Now that we have an understanding of what fear is, I want to talk to you guys about how fear played a big part of my life and how it controlled me for so long and how I overcame it and what overcoming it did for me. And fear, as we know, is like always around, and it's played a big part in different stages of my life. One of the big first ones being when I started being a coach at Hodges Fitness, my older brother and sister's gym. And I did not have any intentions of becoming a coach. My sister kind of threw out the idea, and I was like, oh, she kind of like reeled me in, and I didn't think I could do it. I didn't think I could, and for valid reasons. I was not a very, extroverted person. I wasn't very loud. But once I started to coach, I started to realize that I did have a level of energy and passion within me that brought something, a different side of me out. But even aside from that, like I started coaching, like training. And yeah, a few days before my very first class, it's when it hit me. I'm about to coach on the mic in front of a class the whole time. And my mind just flooded with fear, with doubts, with insecurities, with all these different things. And it was just screaming at me. And I was trying to think of any reason that I could to talk to Teresa to convince her as to why I couldn't coach anymore and to why this just wasn't for me or whatever it was. And it was crazy because I was literally about to not do it. I was about to quit. All because of the fear, the doubts, the lies in my mind telling me I couldn't do this thing. But then I did it. It wasn't amazing, but I did it. I did it again and again and again. And eventually I started to find my voice. I started to improve. And now I'm here now where I am. And I'm an amazing coach. And I'm confident in that because I know I am. And I know what I'm capable of, how I show up, and what I pour into everyone that I coach. But all that to say that if I just let those fears hold me back in those times a couple years ago, I would not be where I am right now. I would be living a completely different life. I would not have changed the lives that I've changed. I would not have impacted the amount of people that I've had. And for a more recent one, as you guys know, because you're watching me right now, I have a podcast. And I started this about a month and a half ago. But I've been wanting to do this for about a year now, maybe a little over a year. And I've been saying I wanted to do this. I've been thinking I want to do this, but I haven't done it up until a month and a half ago. The reason being is fear. Fear did not let me take the first step. It did not let me believe that I could do it. It told me it wasn't possible, it wasn't for me, I'm not capable, fear of judgment, all these different things controlled me for so long, and it put me out of alignment with the person that I know I'm supposed to be and the life that I'm supposed to be living, but I was out of alignment because I was letting fear hold me down and keep me off the path I was supposed to be on. And it took long, so long to overcome that fear. But I did set a goal last year that in 2024, I would start and grow my podcast. And December rolls around and I thought to myself, am I really going to let myself down? And I decided I have no other option but to do it, because I said I was going to do it. And then the day came. It was December 20 something, and I was driving to podcast studio to record my first episode. And once I was about 7 minutes away, it hit me that I'm about to go press record. I'm about to do this thing I've been avoiding. I'm about to do this thing that I've been so scared to do. And a wave of fear hit me so hard. I started to cry. Yes, I started to cry. I was overwhelmed. I was anxious. I was scared. All the little doubts and fears, little whispers in my voice that held me back from doing this thing were now screaming at me as to all the things that could go wrong, all the judgment, all the blah, 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 blah. And I was so overwhelmed. I've never felt that way in my life, but I sat with it. I took it in, and I remembered that the biggest fears come with the biggest success. And on the other side of the things that scare us the most are quite often the things that we want the most, the things that fulfill us the most. So I went in, recorded it, I did it. Wasn't perfect, by no means, but I did it. I posted it. I stuck to my word that I was going to do it that year. And if I just let those fears that overtook me on that drive over to record control me again and allow me to not do the thing I was about to do, I wouldn't be here in front of you right now telling you that the fears in your life right now, the fears that are holding you down, the fear, I know there's a fear, I know there's a dream you have, a big audacious thing that you want to do, but you don't believe it's possible. You are scared of failing, of judgment of others, of the unknown, of whatever it is. There's fear holding you down because you know that you are meant for more in this life. You know you are capable of more. You know average, mediocrity is not for you. But you continue to let this fear control you. And let me tell you that on the other side of that fear is everything you want in this life. And not only the physical things, but the emotional and mental state that you will live in, knowing that you are in alignment, that you are staying true to your word, that you are doing what you say you're going to do, that you are capable of hard, scary things. From the moment that I started this podcast to now, I have completely shifted my identity. Because if you are not living in alignment, and by alignment, I mean there's a path that you are meant to live on, that you are meant to follow. There are things you're supposed to do, things that you're not supposed to do, a life that you're supposed to create. And if you don't live in alignment with that highest version of yourself and you stay off the track doing this, doing that, hopping in and off, then you will simply never be fulfilled. You will never truly 100% be proud of yourself. You will never truly become the best you. Do you hear me? You won't. Isn't that the whole point of life? To become the best you in all aspects? Emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, financially. You must stay in alignment. But in order to stay in alignment, you got to overcome obstacles in your way. And one of the biggest ones is fear. So that fear holding you back, it is time. It is time. Because the other side of that is where you want to be. It's success. So those sneaky little lies your mind keeps telling you, I need you to shut them up or choose to not believe him. And by no means is this easy. It's actually the hardest thing ever. And that is why most people don't reach their true potential. But for you, listen, you wouldn't be here right now listening to me. You wouldn't have listened this long if you didn't know deep down that it's possible, that that life is for you, that that dream that you have, that vision, it is meant for you. Okay, now obviously I can just tell you, push through your fears, achieve your dream life, blah, blah, blah. And that's not really gonna do much, okay? But here are a few tips and actionable steps that you can do to take steps towards overcoming that fear in your life. First one is identify what it is. What is it exactly that you are afraid of? All right, and that's gonna look different for everybody. But for you, what is it? Write it down. Say it out loud. What is it that you are scared of? What is it that you think might happen or might not happen? All right, now that you know what that fear is, I want you to write down a couple more things. One is, what is the worst possible scenario? If you go for that thing, what is the worst that could happen? Truly, someone judging you, getting rejected, you failing. I bet you these fears that have been controlling you, when you write them down, aren't actually so bad. All right, but now ask yourself, what is the best possible scenario? If I were to go for the thing, go all in and succeed, where could I get? Where would I be? How would I feel? What is the life I would create? All right, write it down. Best possible scenario. And don't cut yourself short on this. Anything is possible. Write it down. Now I want you to look at these. And what you're probably going to realize is that worst case scenario is not so bad, and best case scenario is a lot better than you thought. Now the next and final step is taking action. Okay, but we're going to start with small steps. What are some small things that you can do to overcome those fears, to work towards getting that bigger thing and overcoming that bigger fear? If it's a fear of public speaking, maybe that means talking about whatever it is in front of some friends first, and then in front of a small group, and then slowly working your way up and building up until you're speaking on stage in front of thousands. Or if you're scared of posting on social media, maybe just start with some story posts. Start with some posts where it's not much of you talking. Start with something that is manageable, that still is a little scary, but you can press post. And then next time, be a little more vulnerable. Post a little more of your face. Post a little more of your voice. And work your way up in whatever area of life that you are trying to get into. You're trying to endeavor the business, the relationship, that whatever it is, small steps, okay? You can't just expect to just jump straight to the finish line and achieve the big thing, become that person and achieve that life. So we're gonna start with small steps, all right? But listen, you must take the small steps. You must take action. You must work towards this, because if you don't, you will not achieve the life. You will not achieve the goal. You will not achieve that thing. You will not become that person. You will not be truly proud of yourself. You will not be fulfilled. Okay, and that's the final step, is understanding that there is no other route. You either take action and pursue it, overcome the fears, and achieve your dream life and become that best version. Be proud, love yourself, be fulfilled, live in alignment, or you don't. And I don't even need to say the negative things that come along with that, because you know. And you might be living them right now. So this is your sign to go after that thing. No matter how scary, the scarier it is, the bigger it's gonna be. The more fulfilled you will be at the other end of it. If you're still watching this, I know you are someone that is serious about making change, fulfilling your purpose, living the best life you can live. So what I want you to do is do what I was saying. Pull out that piece of paper. Get very clear on what that fear is, all right? And what the best possible scenario is and what the worst possible scenario is. And not only the best and worst case scenario of taking that action and doing that thing you're scared of, but the best and worst case scenario if you don't. What's the best thing that can happen if you don't go for that thing? Probably not much. All right, but what's the worst thing that can happen if you don't go for it? You stay where you are, nothing in your life changes, you don't live a fulfilled life, you don't be true to yourself. Okay, so write all these things down, get very clear, and take action. And never forget that fear is a guide, it's a tool. We're not trying to get rid of it. You got to use it, you got to face it, push through it. So if you're scared to do something, you should probably do that thing. You should probably do more of it. Hoping for the best for you in your life, and thank you for listening. See you next time.